Today's video, we're going to be checking out the DC Collectibles Vertigo Cover Girls Death statue. The statue measures approximately 10.38 inches high and designed by Stanley Art Germ Lau and sculpted by Karen Palinko. Getting her out of packaging, she consists of two parts, her base and then the statue itself. The base as well as the statue is made up of basic grays and blacks. So the base itself is a oval shaped display stand with two noticeable peg holes. I'll show you how that comes together in a second. Of course, we've got the symboling on the front there of, I believe that's eternity on both sides. Panel lined very nicely, and it's not even so much just panel lined, but it's actually a recessed line in the gray, or more for that matter, actually the black is over top of the gray, so it does give it a sense of depth. You got 4 felt feet on the underside, and this statue release is of a limited 5,000 copies. To attach Death to her stand, you can see that she has a larger post and a smaller post, so you know right away that she'll fit the larger post into the front hole and the smaller post in the back hole respectively. So just line it up, wiggle it in place, and once you've got the second hole lined up, you can firmly plant her foot into the sockets, and then you've got the statue ready to be displayed. Now, I mentioned that she has very much a gray scale, as you can see from the base all the way up really to the top of the head. She's made up of grays, whites, and blacks. The only area actually that doesn't have those colors is the flowers that she's holding in her hands, which, as you can see here, have already started to die. She's also got a skull, a skeleton skull, right at the top of her hat, along with a gray feather, and she's got a pair of piercing blue eyes. That's about the only other colors that make up this statue. All the rest of it is in this black and gray motif. Going back to her face though, I think it is a beautiful looking face sculpt on Death. For some strange reason, I'm getting the vibe of Amy Adams. It kind of reminds me of Amy Adams. I don't know if I'm maybe the only one that sees that, but it is a very meticulously sculpted and painted piece. I really like how it shines with the whites and the blacks. It's got such a stark contrast to some of the more vibrant colors that we see normally with the DC Collectibles statues. I really do like how she's in this black, gray, and white color scheme. Again, really liking the coloring of the eyes. There is actually just a little bit of additional color there as well above the colors I had already mentioned. There's a little bit of pink, just if you can see it in the corner areas of her eyes. But I think the face sculpt is very pretty. It almost seems as if she's got her mouth slightly opened, and I don't know if I would have favored just a little bit of a white line in there just to indicate a slight gap between the lips where you could have seen the teeth in between. But again, it's a very pretty head sculpt. You turn the statue around here, and an exquisite level of detail put into her hair. And I love the curls that they've got at the top area. Well, her hair is curly anyways, but I love these little 3 curls. This one's a little looser than the other 2, making up the top area here. Also digging the pose that they've got her in as well, where she's got the one arm resting over top of that hand, as the one hand is holding the 3 roses here. And then the hand is slightly just kind of leaning against her head, or really it seems the head is slightly angled and leaning against the hand. The outfit is very pretty, very vintage looking dress here. Again, you've got the eternity symbol there on a choker collar. She's got a very kind of like a poofy shirt, a corset, and then you've got a really long flowing dress. And we just spin the statue around here. I like especially the little bow here, and then you've got the tail of the bow coming down almost the full length of the dress, about 3/4 of the length of the actual dress. And then you've got the back stitched areas where the corset would have been tightened against her dress here. Her shoes take a slight departure from the rest of the coloring of the outfit. The reason why I say that is because like the rest of the outfit is very much a more matte colored black and different shades of black, but the shoes are very much shinier than basically all the rest of her outfit here. And you've got the gray and the black mixed very nicely, and I especially like as well that you've got the gray laces offsetting the coloring of the shiny black, which then pairs perfectly with the gray at the sides of the shoes here. I might also add, I find like this statue seems a little heavier than some of the other DC collectible statues of kind of this size. We've looked at a bunch of them on this channel, like the Catwoman, for example, and the Wonder Woman, which are roughly about the same height as Death here, but she does seem considerably heavier. And I don't know if maybe it's because, I mean, she really is a solid piece, and maybe it's because she's got the additional dressing where the other figures would have had just the leg sculpts. Maybe that's what's adding to the additional weight here of the statue. I like to consider myself a fairly big collector when it comes to the DC collectible statues. I find they really resonate to me as a collector, and I really like this one. I really like the Vertigo CoverGirl's Death. I like the character already, but I think it's just also that I'm a big fan of Halloween, and I kind of like the more gothic look of and design of characters, and really Death here hits all those marks for me. She doesn't have nearly as much the color as one would expect to maybe get with some of the other DC collectible releases. Some of the other CoverGirls, of course, have a lot more color resonating with those statues, but I really like the simplicity of this one. She's got a really pretty face sculpt. I like the pose, and overall, I think she's well executed here as a statue. The Vertigo CoverGirl's Death statue is now actually currently available in comic book stores, so if you're looking to pick this one up for yourself, I would really highly recommend it. Not only just as a CoverGirl statue collector, but really just as a statue collector as a whole. I think, again, pretty head sculpt. I like the pose. There's very little, actually, I would find fault to this particular statue. I think she does everything really, really well. Also on the advertisement on the back, there's a Zatanna, and I think there's also the Raven, and looking forward to picking those two up as well. If I do get a chance, I'll do reviews of those as well, so you can stay tuned for those. Speaking of staying tuned, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe to this channel, make sure you hit that little subscribe button down below. Of course, more videos as well as more statue reviews will be heading your way. As always, guys, thanks for watching as you always do. I'll see you next time.